Testing, testing. It's been a minute. I hope I am. My mic is on. Looks like my mic is on. I'm not going to be here a long time. There have been technical difficulties, but I wanted to touch base about the madness and the mayhem that has been occurring across the border. And I want us to get the real information because for those of you who don't know, and I'll introduce myself in a second, I run a substantial size travel community, and the comments that I am hearing, oh my gosh, the fake news is real, and I wanted to come in and just talk about what's real and what's not. I had a guest scheduled to come for the past 2 days from Guadalajara, which is my avatar picture right now. This is me in the beautiful city of Guadalajara. But unfortunately, they are having what do you call it? I guess Wi-Fi issues, but it's more than Wi-Fi. So it's like uh, yeah, I'll just say Wi-Fi issues. So hopefully we'll be able to get them back or get them here, if not tomorrow, this weekend. But I did want to come in and just go over some of the fake news stories that I've been hearing, and then also the real news stories because I still keep in touch with quite a few people in Guadalajara, as well as being in WhatsApp groups and other social media groups, and also Puerto Vallarta as well. And so, hey, Christine, girl, how are you? Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Hey, Reese Space, you was thinking about me after hearing about all the stuff going on. Yeah, this week has been a week. Let me just quickly say, so I said I'm coming on tonight regardless. If you're just joining, we were supposed to have a guest tonight, but they're having technical difficulties. Let's just say that. And they have been since yesterday. And so for some reason, they can link, but there's a delay in speaking, and it just wouldn't come off as a good interview. So I was like, you know something, I'm not gonna steal all the shine, steal all the thunder. Hopefully we can get them tomorrow. If not them, somebody else. But I wanted to come in and talk about it because y'all know I love me some Mexico. I love Mexico, and looking forward to going in either the end of April, beginning first week in May, one of the two, and then I'll be back at the end of the year, finalizing my residente permanente, as they call it. And so I'm looking forward to it. And that's not to negate, the situation, right? The situation definitely has stoked a lot of fear in people. And we'll go over some of the comments in my social groups, but let me just say, hey to my people. What's up, Christine? Hey, Respace, good to see you. And hey, CL Mont 04. Good to see you as well. So yeah, if y'all have questions, please feel free to ask and I will answer to the best of my ability. But I do want to pull up, some people who actually do have boots in the ground on the ground and read what some of them have said. I'm not going to pull up their Facebook pages because they're private communities, and so I don't want to expose the private. If they were open public communities, then I would, you know what? I'll see if there's an open public one I could pull up. But for the black expats, all of those communities are private, and so I don't want to expose, but I do want to acknowledge because I know a lot of y'all know, and some of y'all are my clients, right? So some of y'all have totally relied on me for information as it relates to getting and obtaining residency, which last year was a 2025. Y'all showed up and showed out. I had so many of y'all not just start the process, but complete the process for residency. And so I had to come in and talk about what was going on. But definitely, if you have questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, so it is definitely okay. So um was there a operation that involved the cartel and some after effects. Yes, there was. Was it all of Mexico? No, it was not. And that's the one thing that I wanted to immediately clear up. And first, for y'all who don't know me, hey, what's up, everybody? I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. I am the founder of Black Travel and Culture, which you can also find across all social media platforms. And I love, just trying to elevate our community in areas of travel, finances, and wellness, right? And so if I see something, I'm going to say something. And one of the things I have taken pride in is sharing the knowledge that I have as it relates to having options, right? Having real options on living outside of this country, right? And or if it's temporary or permanent, that's totally up to you. But having an option to cross a border with limited stipulations feels good, right? I am in the final few months of my temporary visa, Mexican residency visa, which I obtained in 2022. The end of this year, I'll probably be, a snow bunny in Mexico where I will be finalizing my residency for permanent residency. And then in a month and a half, I will be in Mexico enjoying life like I normally do. So um, let's go into, I'm going to pull up some of the things that the people were saying. I want you to hear from boots on the ground. Some of these images, basically, it's a scary situation. Let me just say that because some of the images were AI generated. Some of the people that were spewing information, child, they're not even in the country, never been in the country. And so I don't want us to just listen to the propaganda and or the fear mongering. I do want us to, and please let me know because I have a fan going on. It has been so cold here. That's what I was saying. So between what's happening in Mexico, we lost a dear a friend, a childhood friend, whose funeral was this past weekend, and the blizzard that shut us down for for a few days. It has been it has been interesting, but I do want to pull up. Let me see. Let me see. Here we go. I'll pull up TikTok first and just hear what some of the people in Guadalajara um, are saying. Give me 1 second. But yes, so there has been some. I'm trying to be sensitive on the words that I use because we live in the US. So I don't even like saying scary because is it really scary? Like, I don't know. I guess if I was there vacationing, um, okay, so I'm gonna pull this up right now. If I was there vacationing, then absolutely I would have. Um, oh, thank you so much, Faithful D Jones. I appreciate that. Yes. So can you listen to Miss Jones or Mr. Jones? It says faithful. I don't want to make assumptions. And just hit the like button because that will help, get the real information out to other people. And if you're just joining, I planned on having someone who's boots on the ground right now in Guadalajara, but unfortunately they're having and it has nothing to do with what's going on, even though they did just come off a code red yesterday, but there's a lag when we talk. So it just didn't make for a good interview. Right. I ask a question, y'all wait 5 minutes for an answer. That's not too cool. So let me just go ahead and play. Amigos, pues como saben, vivo aquí en Guadalajara. Sorry about that. Hold on. So this was, from what I understand, very real. These were people stranded at the airport because in both Guadalajara and um, Puerto Vallarta, the airport shut down for a substantial amount of time. while these can I say uprisings, while the retaliatory activities were happening. And let's be clear, not one American was unalive, not nobody was physically hurt, mentally, emotionally, probably, right? I'd venture to say 90% sure. Yes. But there was a report going that they had kidnapped Americans and some had been unalived. Fake news. So let's just take a look at what the airport looked like in Guadalajara. Um, Looks like the airport in a snowstorm, a blizzard, not a blizzard, like a nor'easter, right? No planes going in. So that's a nice airport. It's not like when people are outside on the ground. So that is absolutely true. Airports were shut down. People who were scheduled to leave out. When did this happen? On Sunday. Could not leave. And many had to schedule their flights because I think three major airlines did no flights, for a few days, a couple days until everything panned out. So yeah, so that's why we always say on this channel and on in my travel community, please have the appropriate travel insurance. Do not travel without travel insurance. Know what your travel insurance with the credit cards that you use offer, because a trip that you thought may cost you $2,000, something like this happened, may cost you $10,000, right? And if you don't have a way to recoup that money, that's just $8,000 down the drain that you did not plan for, right? And I won't say down the drain, you'll probably get lodging and stuff, but it was unplanned and probably something you didn't really want and or need. But let's continue. There's a sister that I
El
want you
gobierno de
to.
Alejandro
Okay, let me
Codina.
just get to her because why? Oh, here she is. So this was her yesterday, and she's a student in Guadalajara. Think she's American, Eritrean. I think I'm saying that right.
The code red situation in Jalisco in Guadalajara has officially been lifted, and I want to make a quick video talking about why what you have seen online may differ from what happened in person and how this code red was lifted so quickly from a first-hand perspective. In my initial video, when I said I have never experienced anything like this in my life, I wasn't discussing violence. As I said in that video, I had not seen any gunshots, any explosions, any symbol or any semblance of violence in my experience, thankfully. What I was referring to was how quickly the second largest city in Mexico shut down. How El Centro Histórico, which is usually completely full on the weekends, felt like a ghost town, which resonates with other experiences that people have shared online. So what struck me was how streets that are full of life were emptied in mere minutes, and how fast it happened, and how so many people were not able to stock up on basic necessities before Code Red took place. Online, the situation looked apocalyptic, when in reality, Guadalajara does what it normally does in situations like this. People went home, they checked in on one another, and they made sure that their loved ones were accounted for. The violence was very real, and it looked different in Puerto Vallarta than it did in Guadalajara. But I also want to share that I believe the news was also sensationalized. The scenes of smoke, of burnt cars online, did not reflect the experiences of people that I know personally in Guadalajara. Of course, this does not mean that everyone experienced this. I want to emphasize that Guadalajara is the second largest city in Mexico, so there are going to be many different experiences of the same event. My experience is one as a foreigner who is here for language immersion. I can only share from my lived experience. I'm not a journalist. I'm not an expert on Mexican security. I'm a cultural strategist who's been in Guadalajara since January for Spanish language immersion. I've been documenting my lived experience here in Guadalajara every week, as I will continue to do for the remainder of the time that I'm here. I'm a cultural strategist who's been living here since January, and what I pay attention to in my work is exactly this: the gap between what's happening on the ground and the stories that are being dispersed online. I also want to name that my experience was shaped by privilege, having a roof over my head, having roommates that pulled together, and having food in the home before everything shut down. The experience of locals will always differ from the experience of foreigners, and stating that difference is important to any story. Today, on Wednesday, February 25th, I am very thankful to report that the streets of Guadalajara are slowly coming back to life and are filled with cars this morning as I looked outside of my window. Different parts of the country are having very different experiences, and I can only share from my lived experience. But what I can share is I am very thankful to see the city slowly return to normalcy. I want to close out this final update video by thanking everyone for your words and your wishes for my safety. If you're interested in seeing Guadalajara through my eyes as I continue exploring and learning Espanol, por favor, follow along. And for my new followers from Mexico, please know that I will be making more videos in Spanish. Puedo hablar en español, pero no perfectamente. Y a veces cuando yo hablo en el video voy a estar como, porque.
Okay. So feel free to follow her. It's mkpetros.avi. As someone who I liked her point of view because she mentioned she is new to Guadalajara. She just got there in January. She also is coming from an entitled point of view, right? And so um I think her first reaction may have probably made some of the locals a little, put them on pause because it's the image that they don't want to be shown, and it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. I also want to um highlight that if we don't pay attention to what is going on, like when they do certain shutdowns, case in point, let me see if I could pull this up. So a couple weeks ago, I posted about very viral video. Let me see if I could find it. Let me stop sharing this. It was a viral video about hey, seriously, good to see you, girl, or see your beautiful pooch. Good to see you. Let me share this other screen. Okay. So I'm going to share, I think I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share a video that I posted and it's going to show when I posted it. But I try to keep my travel community abreast on real topics, real stories that I know they're probably not aware of. And when I tell you the hate, the trolls, they always think I'm lying and I'm fear mongering. And a there was direction from the government that basically is this one it? Child, I've been doing so much breaking news since the flight cancellations, but I'm finding it. Basically, they shut the FAA had warned pilots about. Here we go. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me turn on the beauty, the volume. Here we go. So I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna look at some of the comments, just because if you're not following Black travel culture, it's really Black travel and culture, but there's no and in between. So go to Black travel culture anywhere: Facebook, IG, TikTok. One of the reasons I have been spending less time here is because I've been spending so much time there because I know certain things that are critical and important for us to know, and the reach is just much greater. And so one of the things that I shared, and we'll see what date this was. This was 5 weeks ago. So I'm going to play the warning. Travel warning that has just been issued by the FAA, and you're going to want to know about it. Not only do you want to know about it, you need to share this with everyone you know. Another day, another breaking news story, and another confirmation that if you do not have appropriate travel insurance, do not go, do not travel, because in the last 24 hours, the FAA warned airlines of potential risks for all aircrafts at all altitudes within Central America, South America, and Mexico's airspace. As of now, the warning will be in effect until March 26th of 2026 and reads like this. U.S. operators are advised to exercise caution when operating in the overwater areas above the Pacific Ocean in the Central America Flight Information Region due to military activities and GNSS interference, aka satellite interference. Potential risks exist for aircrafts at all altitudes, including during overflight and the arrival and departure phases of flight. And if you're new here, welcome to Black Travel and Culture, where we do the research so you don't have to. All we ask is that you share this information with your network because sharing is caring. And also know, even if you're not flying to one of these regions, your aircraft can still be impacted if there are delays and or cancellations. There's more to this story, and we'll be back with the part 2, so be sure to follow. There is an urgent. So this, like I said, was posted 5 weeks ago. January 16th, it looks like. And in the caption, it says, it clearly outlines specified areas such as Mexico, Central America, Panama, Bogota. Was that supposed to say Guyana? I don't know. Mazatlan, oceanic flight regions, and airspace within the Eastern Pacific Ocean. There is no way that that action was carried out without preparation, right? There were 2 activities, Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara. I have been almost every week, about 3 to 4 videos, urge our community to get travel insurance. I'm not telling nobody not to travel. I'm not telling, listen, if you, James Baldwin says, if you're afraid to die, you'll never be afraid. You'll never really live. You'll never truly live. And so I never, ever, ever, ever. So I will never be one of those persons to be like, cancel your trip. I won't, because again, that's just not who I am. And so I just want to listen. People are more concerned about the fact that I showed Spirit Airlines. There was some. If this is a true threat, not sure that travel insurance would help in this instance. Like really, Trey, NMN, like really, like how much more basic. And I even, you know what I do? I even break it down for people who may not get it. I try my best because there are things that are planned and that will happen. I posted about what was about to happen to Cuba a month ago. And what did I get? Oh, Cuba's always had issues with oil. Oh, this is nothing. They always have blackouts. People are not paying attention to anything other than the beef between T.I. and 50 Cents, or the Nancy Guthrie missing person story, or the State of the Union, and the videos that's coming out the White House. Like, the distraction is scary to me. It is scary to me how distracted we are as a community. And so again, I mean, there was this is skewed information, and I hope at least some of y'all took the time to educate yourself. Like, wait a minute. There was some funny ones in here, and I'm trying to get to it. Oh, and the other thing is that I wanted to mention again, this was supposed to be an interviewed conversation, and I don't want to step on the toes of the person who hopefully I'll be able to get tomorrow, no later than Saturday with the technical difficulties fixed. But what I did want to say is that this is prime. Um, well, we're coming up on spring break, which is prime travel season. Again, lots of people travel to Mexico. I have other thoughts about, the timing of everything, and I'll share them if y'all remind me because I'm usually in Guadalajara this time of the year. There is a festival that I love that used to happen. Like I would have been there last week. It's called the Guadalajara GDL Luz. It's G like gorgeous, L like lovely, excuse me, D like divine, L like lovely. So gorgeous, divine, lovely, luz, Luz, like light. Absolutely love that festival. Happened every February. They pushed it back till April this year. I think they might have pushed it last year too, but they pushed it back to April this year. And I was like, oh, this is perfect because I'll try to go to Guadalajara first before I end up in Playa del Carmen. But it's just interesting the timing because it would have been happening during that time as well. And then also, I don't know if you know that I think they said 50 to 100,000 not expats, snowbirds travel to Puerto Vallarta every season, every winter season from the US and Canada. And you can imagine the madness and the mayhem in Puerto Vallarta during that time, right? But anyway, oh, so this was a funny one because child, they was coming. They was coming. They was coming for your girls. So I got my hitters. I got my hitters that catch things that I don't catch because as y'all can see, this had over 85,000 likes. I forgot. I think it's like 2 million views by now. I don't even remember. But um she came to my defense. She was like, people literally don't read thoroughly, listen fully, or have adequate comprehension skills. She shouldn't have told y'all nothing. LOL. Look it up for yourselves. And it never said not to travel. It just encouraged folks to get travel insurance in case of delays and or cancellations. Jesus H. Christ. Child, I didn't listen. I didn't even, I don't respond. Like, y'all know, I got really thick skin. So stuff like this, it rolls down my back like water. I don't know these cuckoo crazies. I don't know these people. Um, Somebody else says, are you late with this news? It was for when the US invaded Venezuela. Good grief. Stop it now. We need to worry about food, our kids, and how to pay bills. These were two separate incidences again. So instead of doing your own, like if you don't have to believe my post, a simple Google search, a simple Bing search, a simple Chat GPT question would have provided you the answer that no, this has nothing to do with Venezuela. This was a whole new warning. The Venezuela situation was the first weekend, New Year's weekend of the year. You have some people saying, thank you, thank you. But look, somebody else was like rude. Through the rude through these comments for no reason. Um, Now somebody else wrote a dissertation. I'm not even going to get through that, but they're trying to scare you. No, they weren't. I mean, they definitely are not going to notify pilots. This was a notification to pilots and air staff that they need to keep their head on swivel. That's serious. That's not a joke. And then I think y'all know they shut down an airport in Texas this past week. Oh my gosh. Somebody else put their buying stock in the travel insurance industry. That's cute. And for seriously, girl, and for my other investors in here, I like that. And then somebody else, like I do like my hitters. My hitters will come and and answer questions for me because again, I'm posting this on not only IG, it's on TikTok, and it's on Facebook, and they all went viral. We're talking millions of views. I can't respond to everybody. I'm not going to try. But again, he's basically, coming and supporting the situation. But there's so many comments that were just like, you liar, damn you to hell, like all of that. Oh, as a flight attendant for a major airline with no picture. Okay. This has not been announced. I have not heard of it at all. Meanwhile, somebody just gave a whole nother dissertation. So she's a flight attendant for a major airline and she didn't hear about it. I'd be concerned about, she need to go talk to her management because yeah. Um, but yeah, there were other comments. I don't want to waste everyone's time. I do want to show uh oh, here's another one. According to the Department of State, yeah, y'all go ahead and listen to the Department of State if y'all want to. That's the other recommendation that I wanted to give. If you do have travel plans, and if you do plan on traveling still, please check the local news to wherever the destination is that you're traveling. Also, check other international news sources. What is it? France 24, Al Jazeera, BBC, even though some of them are questionable nowadays too, but try to consume as much news from outside of the domestic news sources as you can. And always, if you are going to, um, let's say you're going to Mexico, every state, of which there are 31 plus, Mexico City, has a reliable news source. All you have to do is Google and search. And I don't care where you're traveling. If you're traveling to Italy, if you're traveling to Spain, wherever you're traveling, do yourself a favor. Either get the app for the local news sources, put on alerts. I would do more than put on alerts, but yeah, definitely do your research. Um, so yeah, this person said that, because the Department of State says Mexico's under a travel advisory level 2, we should be fine. Okay. All right. And I'm not saying you won't be fine, but again, I believe the alert has increased already, but the alerts are a game people play. And I'll just leave it at that. The alerts have more to do with politics than it does with actual safety. Um, Somebody else said, "Can you share the link?" No, I gave you the information. Like, I'm not anyone's personal assistant. The information that I provide on these channels is enough to get you to activate, to be about that action. And if you need more information, you search it. If you can't find it on FAA, like I said, there are a million other resources that could have been, researched. And so, U.S. is about to invade Mexico, maybe also Cuba. Um, oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Fear mongering at its best. Child. U.S. and it it is it Italian? It must be Italian. IT usually stands for Italy, right? I don't know. US and Italian citizens have mastered propaganda to the max. She starts by telling people do not travel. Not one time did I say do not travel because I'm traveling. Why would I say don't travel when I'm traveling? Anyway, makes you think, if y'all really think, whose side is this person in this video on? They all want you to be afraid and stay in the States. Y'all better enjoy your lives. Don't let fear stop you, because it won't, because it will be over for all of us one day. And being afraid to explore the world isn't going, like Chris, I don't know what video Chris was listening to. Chris may have been drinking. Chris may have been puffing on something. I don't know, but he didn't listen to the video that I put together. Um, Yeah. So again, I do plan on sharing more. There's going to be a lot more travel stuff happening. I will put that out there, right? There will be a lot more ways that hmm, let me just leave it at there will be a lot more instances where flights will be disrupted. Um yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. And also, let me see what y'all are saying before I continue. Oh, okay. You wore your black travel culture long sleeve t-shirt today. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. But let's go to Puerto Vallarta. I do want y'all to get a taste of what's going on in Puerto Vallarta. Vallarta. How do I say it? Puerto Vallarta. Vallarta. Now I will say I like Puerto Vallarta. It's not one of my favorite places in Mexico. I think because it has been so North Americanized. A lot of red hat wearing people, a lot of wealth. You know, there's a marina out there. Lots of people own boats in very expensive condominiums, and they bring their isms, right? A lot of them bring their isms. I've been in restaurants there. I cannot stand the way some of them speak to the staff. um I don't like the Pacific coast water and beaches. I love the Caribbean and Atlantic coast. But I have a good time wherever I go, so I had a good time, could never live there. But there's a lot of people who just absolutely, absolutely love it there. But I do want to share some information on Puerto Vallarta. It's so funny the entitlement from some of the people that I have. Uh, okay, so let me do. So this was from 3 days ago. Let me see if they updated. Um, okay, yeah, they did update. So I'm gonna share this couple who's in Puerto Vallarta now, and they're going to give their I'm part of their Facebook community too. So let me They're called Melanated. Well, their pages are called Melanated in Mexico. So let's listen. Okay, why do they have music? I can't do that. Okay, let me see if I could do captions on this one because I can't play the music. Show captions under available. What? Why can't show? What? Translate all posts in languages you don't want to translate. I don't know why this is doing this. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so everything's back to normal. Unfortunately, I can't play this video because they have sounds in the background, and I don't know if those are copyright free or not, but you can check out Melanated in Mexico for any updates. They are actually in Puerto Vallarta. Um, but again, there are so many resources that I'd rather you get the most accurate information. Um, let's let's hear from let's hear from the boys. Okay, now it's way too loud in the back. Yeah, they're heading home, I guess, after trying to get home. Now, I do think it would be prudent to share. So basically, here's the latest update. There's this other girl that I love her commentary. I don't know if I could find her real quick. But anyway, this is from today, the 26th. And basically it says airports in Puerto Vallarta and let me go back. And Guadalajara are back to normal with US airlines resuming service. Public transportation and businesses are returning to normal operations. No tourists have been reported harm during the unrest. Okay, so I can't say unrest, right? Violence was concentrated on highways, not the hotel zone. Even though they did get, Costco, which also makes me scratch my head as well. But yeah, so again, just gay, black, and safe in Mexico. Okay, I guess that was necessary to tell, right? I guess. Um, Again, people were saying that Cancun was shut. Oh, that's who I want to show. That's who I want to show. If you're not following Karina worldwide, love her. She has been in Playa del Carmen for 4 years. She just renewed her residency. She has permanent residency. Absolutely love her. She also teaches there, but she did what the hell? Yeah, Karina is hilarious. So I do want to share. She's one of her students. Okay, let me back up a little. First, she had just come back. So I'm going to start there. She had just come back from Trinidad. She flew into JFK. She was supposed to stay in New York for a couple of days. The blizzard was coming. She was like, I'm out of here. So she flew to Cancun, and this is where her story begins. Okay.
Reports about what's going on with the cartel in Guadalajara, and they just wanted to check on me and make sure I was safe. And of course, my response was, yes, I'm safe. Thank you for your concern. But where I live in Playa del Carmen is maybe a 2-3 days drive from Guadalajara. Unfortunately, I just flew into Cancun this morning from the States, and there was traffic backed up, but the highways were not closed. And I just found out that, thankfully, thank God, I arrived when I did, because now all of the highways are closed. So I was leaving my provider and my security guard. Like, I love him. Oh my gosh, he's the best. He told me, like, don't go out. And I'm like, no, I'm just going out. My friend was something. He's like, do not go out right now. And then he showed me where on Facebook pages they're saying there's a 6 p.m. curfew. And so I said, no, well, I'm just going to just go to the OXXO. And I get to the second gate and it's closed, and police officers are in front of the gate. And they're just basically like, unless it's an emergency, you need to turn back around and go inside your house. And I didn't have any groceries because I just came back from the States this morning. So I had to get some cup of noodles from the OXXO. The only thing that's happened in Playa del Carmen so far are, them burning cars. But other than that, I haven't heard much. So I'm gonna go get my dog some food. So I want to start this video by thanking everyone who's reached out to me. I am in Mexico. I am fine. Just in case you don't know, I live in Mexico.
I'm sorry. The reason I moved it because there's music in her background too. But I do want y'all to hear her point of view for somebody who's lived there for 5 years and who's an American, right? She's from, is it North Carolina, South Carolina, went to South Carolina State, has lived across the globe. I know she lived in China, and I may be missing a couple places, travels extensively. So she's coming um, from this with a real intelligent point of view. I just saw a comment though. Hold on a second. What's up? The buck stops here. Good to see you back in the building. You heard Puerto Vallarta went from touristy to war zone. Yeah, I think war zone is being a little dramatic. If you define what war zone means, right? From some digital nomads that was living there and came back to the US for now. It was the cartel. Like it was, for those of you who don't know, this isn't the first time. So another big cartel leader was shot in Guadalajara airport and taken out. And the crazy thing is, people are saying, was the man really taken out? He was flown away in some private airport. Ain't nobody seen some private plane. Nobody seen the remains. So who knows what's really going down? But long story short, yeah, it wasn't a war zone. It wasn't a war zone. And I think Karina's point of view, even though she's in Playa del Carmen, am I going to play this one or the shorter one? Because this is 4 minutes. No, we're not listening to that. Let's play the shorter one. We'll get through some of this, the beginning, because I like her responding. These are the type of comments that I see as well. The US doesn't seem so bad after all. When you rank safety, and Mexico, like I said, people still want to talk about Mexico like it's Detroit or Chicago. Like, instead of speaking about Mexico like it's the United States or Canada, meaning you go from east to west, north to south, and there's a whole bunch of states, i.e., Jalisco's, and cities, i.e., ciudades, and towns or playas, right? Um, at every corner. So, are there places that I would never travel to? Heck yeah. Number one, that's where they be hanging out, child. That's yeah, them border cities. And I don't speak Espanol good enough to hold one of those type of conversations. Yeah, no, I'm good. Miss me on that. But again, there are so many developed parts of Mexico that people honestly just don't get. They just don't get. And I think I may have a video from Guadalajara. But anyway, let's listen to Karina for a second.
Mexico. I'm currently on my lunch break here in Playa del Carmen. Ow. So don't mind me. I'm going to eat and talk. It's always interesting to me when people make comments like this anytime something happens outside the U.S. because it really shows how much we've normalized the dangers within the U.S. borders.
Yep.
We say it so casually. As if the United States doesn't have daily mass shootings, right? Look what I'm implying. As if kids don't practice active shooter drills like they're practicing fire alarm drills. As if road rage shootings, hate crimes, corruption.
And let's not even get started with what's happening now and what they're normalizing now. Listen, I just have to throw this in there. I just heard about those damn peoples that are kidnapping people off the street for fun. They had a detainee, and I want to say it was either upstate New York, it was someplace cold and snowy. They released this man who was mostly blind in the woods, like near the woods, for him to walk and find his way home. Guess what? He didn't make it. He froze. But they did this for the sport of it. The sport of it. You want to talk about a war zone? Let's get ready. Stay ready. So anyway, let's finish listening to Karina. Oh, I'm sorry, Karina. I didn't mean to leave your picture like that.
In the government doesn't happen in the U.S. It's become so routine that it doesn't even register as a problem to Americans. And my apologies for the noise because I am eating. And there are swim classes taking place because at the school I teach at, the kids, they take swimming classes. But let's get back to the U.S. isn't as bad after all, right? The fact that I told you this morning, I was at immigration changing my residency from temporary to permanent in the middle of all of this should tell you something. The fact that the Mexican government, they doubled down on permanent residency fees in the last 2 months, right? From around 400 USD to, I think now it's over $800. I think I have to pay over $800 because of the increased demand. Should also tell you something. People aren't fleeing in fear. Most people are moving to Mexico, and Mexico sees that. I'm not going to ever say one country is better than the next, right? But I just can't stand it when Americans believe that the U.S. is the best country in the world or that it's better than another country because something is happening. Because the hard reality is no place in the world is 100% safe. None. Unless you go to Antarctica. It's it's so easy for us to see things on TikTok from TikTok influencers, and they're telling people, "Oh, they're capturing Americans." That's not my experience. I can only speak to my experience and what I've seen, what I've heard outside of TikTok influencers on social media. And I don't want anyone to misconstrue this video as me being nonchalant. I'm not. I'm not at all. But I choose peace. And I also know that I feel safe here and I feel at peace here. I genuinely feel for civilians who were just caught up in issues between cartel and the military or the police. I know sometimes TikTok influencers, they want to become news anchors because they see a viral moment. I can't speak on that. I speak about, I do have melatonin, y'all. I can only speak to you about my lived experience here in Playa del Carmen, and that's it. When I rushed back to Mexico yesterday to get away from that snow blizzard, what was it? Snowstorm Hernando. People were messaging me like, "Oh, I know you regret going back now. You should have stayed in New York." Not one regret. I regret to stay here, and it has nothing to do with the blizzard. You can go back to the States. When you see comments like this, I just assume people, they've never been outside of the U.S. They've never traveled. They've never explored the world. They've never lived in a different country. So they don't know. All they know is the United States. Ignorance is bliss in certain situations, but here's the thing. Mexico is not a city. It's not a state. It's not a small island. It's a country. Mexico has different regions, cultures, economies, and safety levels depending on where you are in Mexico. The same way the U.S. has neighborhoods you wouldn't walk through at night, and others where people don't even lock their doors. Same thing. I'm not saying the Civil War term is dramatic because it's not. What's happening is real. Actually, some of my students showed me videos of, cities that they're from, like their families that have been affected. It is real. It is happening, right? But this does not reflect my day-to-day life. Because if we're going to keep a buck, the cartel's not just in Mexico. They're in every state in the United States. Every state. And if we're calling a spade, most of the most dangerous cities in Mexico border the U.S. Why do you think that is? Mexico has real issues. The United States has real issues. But speaking from my personal experience, I know where I live and I know where I want to live for the rest of my life. Could that change tomorrow? Could. I don't foresee it changing, but very well could. Things change, people change every day. But right now, if I had to move back to the United States, I would just move somewhere else. Maybe back to China. I don't know. But in case you don't know, I live in Mexico. I'm currently on my lunch break here in Playa del Carmen. Ow.
I so exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, support her point of view. And I found a picture of us together. This is us in Playa del Carmen, just having a good old time, looking like an angel and a not so angel. But she's just like a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant person. And um I really just wanted to come into my heart. Mexico has my heart. So I could not speak about what was going on. And it's perfectly fine for anybody who does not feel comfortable. Listen, she may be listening today. My god sister called me and was like, listen, my daughter has a business trip there on next month, the first week of March. And she's nervous for her. And that's, I get it. But I also understand that the cartel, the mafia, these big organized crime people, they don't want nothing to do with the average Joe. If you are not out here doing dirt, if you are not out here committing crimes, if you're not out here messing with their money, just follow the money, y'all, then the chances of you getting caught up in anything except maybe a delayed flight are slim to none. And so that's exactly what, I wanted to come on and say. I definitely wanted people to be able to ask questions of, someone who's their boots on the ground, because, you know, it's not just going to be Mexico, is what I'll say. You know, it's not just going to be Mexico. We are playing with a lot of other places, and a lot of people don't understand how connected certain countries are to other countries, and that's bothersome to me because yeah, the education system here just didn't do do us justice. And so I just really want to be hopefully a voice of reasoning for all of the people that listen to me that live outside the country, who, um, don't want don't want the negativity, the stench, I'll call it the stench, to just, be what's out there, because there are so many people out there thriving. Listen, the same night, Sunday night, the rooftops were packed in Playa del Carmen in Cancun. The you know, Puerto Vallarta, certain areas, there was definitely concern because of the smoke. Um, and there were, fires that were set, but nobody was hurt. We have people hurt here every single day, and we point fingers as what's going on in these other countries, as if we are not the freaking laughing stock. If we are not the country that people are literally canceling plans to come here. Tourism is so down. Countries are like, I did a video, I'm gonna play that. There's countries that y'all probably don't even know that have let me remove this, that have us on their travel warning list. And so let me go ahead and just share that, because it is absolutely insane to me that we are sitting up here high and mighty and, pointing fingers. Um, hold on a second. Pointing fingers at, oh, here it is. These other countries, as if they're not pointing their fingers right back, right? Uh-oh. I don't want to drive sales. What the heck is this? I'm just trying to get to this video. Leave. Okay. Let me share and then I'll find it. So hopefully, this was somewhat helpful. I might have said I was going to show something else and I just don't remember, because again, I just have a list of questions that I was supposed to be asking somebody. Oh, here we go. US regularly puts travel advisories on other countries. Okay, let's start this again. We bet you didn't know that these 11 countries have issued travel advisories or travel warnings against coming to the United States. That's right, y'all. While the US regularly puts travel advisories on other countries, several governments have updated their guidance telling their citizens to use caution when traveling to America. Please note, these are not travel bans. They are simply caution notices, but it is significant because it reflects how other nations are currently assessing travel risks to the US, and tourism will most likely be impacted. And here's a list of the countries: Germany, Denmark, Finland, New Zealand, Australia, Canada. And before we get to the final four, make sure you're following Black Travel and Culture, where we do the research so you don't have to. And here's the final four: France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Portugal. Some advisories specifically warn of increased scrutiny at U.S. borders, possible detention for visa violations, and guidance for LGBTQ plus travelers, to name a few. Are you surprised? We bet you didn't know that. Surprised, because they absolutely um they absolutely believe that there is no, I'm about to say, nobody greater than you, child. No place greater than this country, while other countries that have money, that have wealth, we're not taught. These are the countries that he wants people to come from, right? And they're like, no, no, no. We're telling our citizens, no, 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 think twice, maybe go someplace else. And so again, I just really want us to know what the heck is going on and to be absolutely don't I don't want fear to drive you in any decisions, right? So if you're somebody who's still thinking about making an exit, keep thinking about it, keep planning for it. I want you to do more than think about it. I want you to plan for it, right? If you're somebody that's thinking about taking a trip to Mexico, to Panama, to wherever, still plan for it. But I will say once again, make sure you have the appropriate travel insurance. Make sure you have coverage for everything. So I don't, somebody asked me before, I get this question all the time. What travel insurance do I prefer? Or what do I recommend? That's the question I usually get. I don't recommend travel insurance, but I will share the travel insurance that I have, the company, and they have different programs and different based on your needs. And I use Allianz, and that's not an endorsement. Like I had to use them one time, and it took the paperwork was they kept losing it. I kept speaking to different people, but it ended up getting resolved, right? So, um, I don't give recommendations because I don't know your situation, right? I don't know. Like I'm the person I want the medevac, right? If it's gonna cost me 50,000, 100,000 to get me from point A to point B, I want you to be able to pay that. Or at least if I have to put it on some cards, I'll get reimbursed for it, right? And so that's I'm just urging people to go ahead and get that. Make sure you're not traveling without travel insurance because there's going to be more disruptions. There's going to be more disruptions. Hey, Creative Flavors 01, good to see you back. Since watching you since 2024, you did your work and you live, and I'm going to mess this up, Guanajuato, Mexico. Oh, that might have been what I was supposed to type before. Taking a quick flight to Puerto Vallarta tomorrow for a few days. This is what they're back to normal. I mean, things are back to normal. I did see this man, he posted as they were towing away. He was out to dinner in Puerto Vallarta and they had the tow trucks, towing away the cars. And the cars that they yeah, so that's a whole nother conversation. We've been on here over an hour. I did want to, again, not cancel again, but my goal was to have someone from Guadalajara who's part of, who's ingrained in that community. I wanted them to be able to answer any questions if you had. And as soon as we can get it done again, I'm not trying. I told them, just you let me know, because they had I think they were supposed to be interviewed by the news or something like that, and they had technical difficulties, and it may just be, I don't know what it's from, so I don't want to guess. But yeah, so anyway, I did want to come on. I did want to, talk to my people. I miss y'all. Let me see what else I got going on. I posted, if you're on my email list, you got an email from me today. Every Black History Month, I do something for the community that is either low cost or free. My free stuff I've been doing like for a different population, has nothing to do with what's this is about. But I decided, because I'm launching my next 30-day challenge. It starts next week, Friday. And it's all about social media. So if you're on here, if you come back later, you got an email from me. And it's also posted in the community tabs. I'm doing not my course. I'm giving away the blueprint, the secret sauce on how I've grown multiple social media platforms rapidly. I've helped companies do the same, and I've helped clients do the same, individual clients. So this Sunday, I just decided whoever shows up, shows up. If it's one person, fine. If it's 10 people, fine. I'm just going to do it because God said so. So for what usually costs over $500, well, the 30-day course is $900, but I'm doing for $150. You can get all the gems that I really, I love creators and I love people who, develop programs and sell programs. But I don't like the fact that they don't have the science behind these algorithms. They don't know how to really grow. They know what other people are saying. And there's so many things that I don't hear them say. And so long story short, that's what I teach during my 28-day accountability challenge for people who are interested in growing their social media platforms. That's also what I teach my private clients. So if you're interested, this is only for people interested in growing, having a social media presence, especially on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those are the core. Then I would love to have you. It's $150, one time only. Sunday starts at 8 p.m. And that's it. It's just something that came to me, so I decided to do it. And I know everyone can't dedicate 30 days. And I just want people to develop their brand, because I'm going to tell y'all, with all the chaos and confusion that's happening right now, there has never been a simpler time to grow your social media presence, because all eyes are on social media, and they will be. They will be for the foreseeable future. So, oh, hi, Creative Flavors and try, excuse me, Creative Flavors '01. It is $150. And again, it's all outlined in the community tab. It's the last post there. And you could click on the link, read everything you get, but you're getting the entire framework of what I'll be teaching during the 28-day challenge. I might have said 30-day challenge before, but it's a 28-day challenge. And so if you're motivated, if you're super motivated, that's all you need. You know, if you need more hand holding, you'll be invited to join the 28-day challenge, but it's not an obligation. But yeah, again, I just know that, yeah. Anyway, so I'm not, this isn't even really about that. I'm trying to see what else am I doing. Oh, and so again, oh, I'm just still trying to deal with, how can I say it? I'm just trying to deal with what's coming down the pike. And so if you're not following me on the other platforms, Black Travel and Culture, that's absolutely free. Please be sure to do that. And, I will bring you the news that has been vetted, triple checked. Nothing on that channel, even though people, don't want to believe it, has not been adequately researched and sourced and confirmed. Um, yeah, so that's all I got going on. I don't see any other questions. I thank everyone for tuning in. I miss you guys. I'm glad you decided to stop by. And as soon, I apologize for having to cancel yesterday. We thought it was just a issue that would be resolved by tonight, and then we tried. We did a test at like 7:30 until like 7:50, and it was even worse than yesterday. So it was like, okay, well, maybe I can go to this part of the condo. So we moved it to 10, and it still was lagging. So saying all that to say, I thank you for, for holding. Well, I don't know if y'all were coming for that or not. But anyway, y'all didn't know what y'all were coming for. But I thank you for coming tonight. And as soon as we're able to reschedule that, I will let you know. Anyway, thank you, one. Thank you all. And I will see everyone just as soon as I'm able to reschedule. I'm definitely going to come on this week, and I'll probably be on Saturday just to remind people about Sunday's class, because that's not what tonight was for. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I will see everyone soon. Take care. Bye.